In today's video, I'll be showing how Michael and Gabriel were originally the only two good angels in the Enoch narrative. In the Book of the Watchers, there are 4 holy angels that are dispatched to deal with the results of the Watchers mating with human women. They are Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel. I'll be taking a look at the compositional layers of the Book of the Watchers and explaining when each angel was added into the narrative. If you haven't already, be sure to check out my video on the compositional history of the Book of the Watchers. In the lavender layer, shown here, the author combines the narratives of the Watchers and Enoch's journey. It's in this layer that Michael and Gabriel are added. The green layer shown here is when Raphael was added. And lastly, the orange layer is when Uriel was added. Let's take a look at the text of Enoch to see how and why each layer was added. We see that the section starts out with the earlier lavender layer saying that the Most High is speaking. The orange layer switches this to its preferred title for God, saying that it is the Holy and Great One speaking. The orange layer is associated with insertions from the biblical narrative, and Lamech and Noah are mentioned there. It is in this layer that Uriel is introduced. Next is the green layer, which is associated with Azazel and forbidden knowledge. It's in this layer that Raphael is introduced. In the next section, we switch back to the lavender layer, which is associated with Semjaza and the offspring of the Watchers. It's in this layer that both Michael and Gabriel are introduced. But who were Michael and Gabriel originally? Historically even. To answer that, I want to see if perhaps these angelic characters were based on human characters at one time. If you haven't already, be sure to check out my video entitled The Watchers, Who Were They Originally? In it, I propose that the Watchers were based on characters that were originally real-life humans. In that video, I also talk about looking at points of emphasis to see where the author may have been trying to change the narrative. Do we find the same with Michael and Gabriel? Not really. It does state that they are from heaven, but only twice, so it doesn't really qualify as an emphasis. But what is interesting is when we take a look at the book of Daniel. Again, both Michael and Gabriel show up in the Daniel narrative. Although the context clearly shows that Gabriel is a divine being, it is interesting he's referred to as the man Gabriel. Michael never interacts with Daniel directly, but some think that he is the one referred to in Daniel 7:13, where it says, like a son of man. The use of the word like here is a component of a common propaganda technique that I refer to as the literal figurative switcheroo. With this technique, the author changes the literal to the figurative. An example is when Naaman's daughter, which was considered to be his flesh in one sense, is changed to refer to the flesh of his own body. Another example is in the Davidic narrative when, like a king's feast, was literally a king's feast in the original narrative. If you'd like to learn more about that narrative, be sure to check out my video on Abigail, where I propose that she was David's runaway slave in the original narrative. All that to say, the author of Daniel may have used the phrase, like a son of man, because in the original narrative, Michael was literally a son of man. In other words, a human, not an angel. If you want to see my source attributions for the entire Book of the Watchers text, I'll link to it in the description. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and please like, share, and subscribe.